Hey everybody, Adam here for True North Wilds. It's the middle of August, and that means two important things for me. One, the hockey season is getting closer, and two, the fall walleye bite is about to get underway. Around here we go for greenbacks from Lake Winnipeg. It's fantastic. It's amazing how the bite turns on. I'm always looking for new things to try out when fishing for them. So naturally, I got the RLM Elite Walleye Species Specific box from Simple Fishing. Simplefishing.ca if you want to check them out. They got walleye, they got pike, they got bass, and they have multi-species, and they're always jam-packed full of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and see what kind of arsenal I'm going to have going into the fall here fishing for the fall walleye. While I'm doing that, don't forget you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/TrueNorthWilds, on Instagram @TrueNorthWilds, and if you like to read, you can check out my blog site, TrueNorthWilds.com. First up, we got the Bam Baits. I love Bam Baits. I love getting them. They are a Canadian company. They make really good plastics. We got a nice dark plastic with blue sparkles in there. Nice paddle tail on it, lots of action. They make a good, chunky, durable plastic, which is why I like getting them so much. This is a great color for clearer water when you want that silhouette, that color. The blue sparkle in here is really nice. I always have pretty good luck using those blue sparkles. They seem to attract the walleye pretty well, so I'm happy to get these. Always happy to get Bam Baits. Not to be confused with Bam Baits, we have Bama Baits, which, as you can tell by the label there, are not a Canadian company. These are pretty cool though. These are a jointed sort of a plastic. It's hard to see, but if you can kind of see the ridges there. So it's like a jointed crankbait, only it's a plastic. Same thing. They got the paddle tail. They got this really fantastic bluish clear sort of color, and then they got the black sparkles in there. It's all around a really nice lure, good shape. The plastic tails, because of the joints, are a little bit more flimsy, so you got to watch if you start catching pike or even walleye with the sharp teeth. They might start to bite through those. So you just got to pay attention to that. But the joints, the fact that it's jointed like that, and all the action that's going to give it in the water, it's a pretty cool plastic. I'm really excited to try these out. So the Yum Pulse plastic, it's a 4.5-inch plastic. It's this nice green color plastic, and it's got a ton of sparkles, and it's got this huge paddle tail on it. This thing is massive, this paddle tail. These things make a lot of action in the water. These things glide through the water really, really well. They got sort of a ribbed body on them as well. So just a lot of stuff going on in the water when you pull this. And then again, they have a lot of that sparkle in there is that blue color as well, which always seems to attract the fish. I've had these before and I've used these before and they work well, so I'm always excited to get more. I've actually lent these out to people before on certain lakes around here. This big paddle tail and this particular color with the blue sparkles is the only thing that would catch them walleye, so I have no doubt that I'll be pretty successful with this. We've got the Tight Lines UV. So this is a sample pack. Comes with a variety of colors. This is one of them. And it's just a standard grub with a standard twister tail on it, standard size, standard shape, everything. The thing with the UV ones, apparently, I haven't tried these yet, but they reflect UV light under the water. So if you get them, put these on a jig head, drop them down deep where it's darker, they're going to reflect that UV light and give an outline, a little bit more of a glowing silhouette similar to a bait fish. That's what they advertise on the package anyway. I haven't quite used these yet. I've used plenty of grubs and twister tails obviously, but I don't know how well the UV thing will work. I'm looking forward to putting it to the test. Even if it doesn't quite hold up with the glowing part of it, I mean, you can't go wrong with a standard grub, standard twister tail. There's a reason this is sort of a standard size and shape and everything. It's because they work. We've got a Bagley brand lure. You can't go wrong with Bagley. It's a tried and true name. This one is the Balsa Shad. Pull it out of the box so I can show you. It dives 8 to 12 feet, which is that perfect depth. Puts it right in that strike zone as they're coming up, as the water's getting colder. They're coming out of those really deep holes. They're starting to come into that zone, that 8 to 12 foot zone. Fantastic color on this, fantastic paint job. 8 to 12 feet, puts them right in that strike zone where the walleye are going to be. And Bagley, you know it's going to be quality. So I'm looking forward to trying this out. I have a lot of Bagley lures. It's probably one of the lures I have the most of, to be honest, and they never let me down. A lure brand that I haven't really used much of, the Strike Pro. I'm not sure if I've used any of their stuff, actually, come to think of it, but this is a Lipless Crankbait. So Lipless Crankbait, you can see the colors on here, the sparkle, it's got that holographic sort of base layer, and it gives off a lot of reflection. So that's really cool. It's a nice shape, it's a heavy lure. Lipless cranks I really like because you can drop them down, they sink, you can throw them to any depth, let them sink, rip them up, and you can hear, they always have these big loud rattles in them. So you drop it to the bottom, you rip it up, that rattle draws them in, and usually as you let them drop again and it's fluttering to the bottom is when you get your strikes. For walleye in particular, these are really effective. This is something you can use year-round, even as we get into ice fishing with the winter coming up. You drop a lipless crank down and you get that rattle going and you draw them right up into the hole, or right up under the hole where you're fishing. And I've had a lot of success with lipless cranks. I always like getting new ones. This one in particular, I really like the face on it, the detail. Just a really nice lure. Terminal tackle, always nice to get hooks. I tend to not use the wide gap as often around here. Usually when I get plastics like the ones that I've gotten, I'll throw them on different types of jig heads. But if I want to start throwing on some worms, or if I'm bass fishing, I tend to use more the wide gap hooks. So it's still nice to get these because when I do use them, I do go through a lot. So nice getting that. The Lucky Bug Zombie Max lure. These things are pretty cool. I've got now 3 of them of different sizes, each one being a different size. This is the small 3-inch one. It's the perch color. These things, the joints, you can maybe tell by looking, are just so smooth. Everything about this lure is so silky smooth. It moves so great in the water. You can pull this fast, you can pull this slow, you can let it sink and it'll kind of flutter down like a dead bait fish. As you pull it through the water, you get that gliding action. They look fantastic in the water. They're a really cool lure. They're really versatile. You can keep them close to the surface if you pull them through really fast. You can let them sink and you can pull them through at whatever depth you want, basically. And then they're just, you know, a nice paint job and that realistic action. There are multiple species lure. Bass will go after these. Pike definitely go after these. Walleye will go after these if you get it down into that right target zone. So just a really all-around good lure to get. The Lunker Hunt Hatch Natural. These things are always packaged insanely tight. I'm not going to try and take this out because I always end up either cutting myself or just wasting time doing it, but you can see it through the plastic here. It's a heavy lure. These things are great for covering distance. So if you need something that's going to cast like a bullet and sink like a stone, this is what you're going to throw. It gets down deep. You got to watch for snags and everything. Of course, you got to pick your targets. But if you want to keep your distance from certain areas so you're not spooking things, and you want to be able to just launch this, you know, as far as you can throw it, and it'll throw a long ways, and then be confident that it's going to hit the bottom, and you can start dragging it along the bottom, or hit the bottom and then drag it up at an angle. Either way, this is going to be what you're going to use to do that. The paint jobs on these things are always super realistic. They just do a fantastic job painting them. I've had a lot of success with these. I've gotten a few of them now and they're great. They're great lures all around. Last up, you get your little card. Oh, whoa, I got more than a card. Usually it's my slam card. I've got a bunch of stuff in here. So I've got a cool little simple fishing sticker, RLM Elite Walleye tip. So this is something new. So it is a tip card reading walleye river currents, and it gives you a little blurb here and a source and stuff, and it just gives you a little bit of a tip about reading currents in a river, so that's kind of neat. First I've seen that. A thank you card, just a little blurb here thanking you for subscribing and all that stuff, and then a little thank you note from Scott, so that's kind of nice. You got your what's in the box card, so it gives you the list of everything that's in the box as well as the retail value, and you'll never feel ripped off with this box. I haven't yet at all, not even close. For the amount of stuff that you get in here and what you would pay for it in the store, it's always worth it. And then of course your slam card. So you get your slam card so that when you're doing your slam you can keep track of what you're catching. My one quibble with this is it doesn't actually list the lures on here, so you have to fill that all in yourself. But other than that, the slam card's always nice to get. Take a marker or poke a hole in it, as they suggest on the card, and fill it in. keep track of your slam as you're doing your challenge. So that's it. That's my walleye box from Simple Fishing for the month of August. I'm looking forward to trying these lures out, especially going into our fall walleye season here. The theme of the box seems to be get down deep and make a lot of things happen in the water. So get down deep in those big paddle tails as you're down there, or the flashiness and the big rattle of the lipless crank. No matter what lure you're using, all of them seem to have that sort of feature in mind where you can get them down deep into that target zone and just make a lot of things happen in the water. As the fish are coming up, as the water's getting colder, the fish are coming up, they're getting hungry, they're moving shallower, they're going to start looking for meals. They're still early on right now, so it's still, you have to entice them, you have to really work for it to get them to go after you, and that's where that big action comes in. As we get colder water and as we get closer to the winter, they'll start feeding and storing their fat for the winter. That's where it gets a little bit easier, and more subtle baits will be more effective, smaller baits like that, because they're going to kind of go after everything then. But for now, for the time that it is, everything I got in this box is exactly appropriate for what I'm going to need to go fishing in the next couple months as we get into fall here, going for the greenbacks. So looking forward to trying those out. Thanks for watching. If you found that useful, leave a comment, let me know what you guys are getting, if you enjoy the boxes or not. Don't forget you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/TrueNorthWilds. Follow us on Instagram @TrueNorthWilds. And of course, if you like to read, I like to write about my outdoor adventures, hunting, fishing, wild fish and game recipes, homesteading stuff, you know, anything to do with the outdoors, I'll write about it. So check us out there, TrueNorthWilds.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. It helps me out a lot. Until next time, I'll see you outside.